you want to be coming into these games in this last part of the season with momentum. You want to be coming into this place with players feeling exactly like I've explained there, really. So so that's very important.
Neil Harris has said there's huge pressure on Fulham, a team that should be in the Premier League, with the money that they've spent and even now are spending. We will go and enjoy it. Any thoughts on those comments?
I think there's big pressure on both. You know, Cardiff were in the Premier League with us last year, and they were 8 points better off than us. To be honest with you, I think they were. You know, they finished above us in the Premier League. They're in the same position. I understand what Neil's saying, but Neil will be feeling exactly the same, really. So, a team which would be expected to be up and around where they are, expected to get in the playoffs. I mean, look, it's a massive game for both of us, and expectation on both clubs are huge. And so I think we understand the expectation from the outside. The expectation from the inside is never going to be. It's always going to be greater what's coming from in, and we understand that. We'll embrace that. We look forward to it. We look forward to this challenge, what lies ahead of us, really. 2 games against a very, very good Cardiff team. We have no doubt about that. We understand what we face and the challenge we face. But like I say, we'll embrace that and we'll look forward to it. And go from there, really.
Are those the kind of comments that you enjoy the player talking about in the build-up of a game like this? Can comments like that from opposition managers sort of help?
I don't know. I really don't take any notice of that. Like I said, I wouldn't need Neil Harris to make a comment for me to believe what we need to do or what we don't have to do. So I think, at the end of the day, we understand throughout this season. It's been a constant message from me to this team that let's worry about ourselves. I think we all understand, and we know that what ingredients you need to bring to a football match. That's the constant message from me to my team. There's a certain ingredient you need to bring to a football match to win football matches. If we bring them ingredients and we show that and we show that side to us, I have no doubt we will win more than we lose in this division for sure. At times that we've fallen short, but I know for sure that for all whatever's been said or whatever has been mounted on us, the sole focus needs to be us and what we do and what we can do and how we influence things and how we need to show up when we step over that line. If we do that, we'll be fine.
Mitrovic has won the Golden Boot for the Championship. Cabano's in great form as well. Where are those players on the confidence Richter scale at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, right out there. Obviously, Mitrovic has scored a large part of the goals this year, and has been the focal point to what we've done and to where we are, really. I think we said we needed goals from elsewhere on the pitch, and we've probably lacked that a little bit this year, and it's certainly an area we need to improve on, because there's been a lot of expectation on Mitrovic, and his goals have been vitally important. I think we do recognise that we need to add some goals from other areas of the pitch, and someone like Cabano, who's come in over the last 3 or 4 games and scored 3 goals, it's pleasing to see, really, really pleasing, because it can only help us develop, it can only help us move forward, really.
Just the last couple for me. The first one's on Bettinelli. Some talk and a few reports recently linking him with a move away. What's your position on him? Would you like him to stay on long term?
Sorry, Paul, say that again. You broke up.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Bettinelli, the goalkeeper. Some reports recently linking him with a move away. I just wondered what your position was on him in the long-term future.
I mean, look, at this present moment in time, main focus and main goal is the next 3 games. And if there's anything, I understand my position. I've got 2-3 fantastic keepers, and then he's been first class for the football club. He's been first class when he was in, and now he's out supporting Rodak. He's been top drawer as well. But in terms of it's just speculation, and at this present moment in time, I wouldn't really want to answer that.
As somebody who held this title yourself, what's your reaction to Jordan Henderson winning the Football Writers' Player of the Year?
Yeah, I just heard the news, really. So, I mean, look, fantastic news. I think he's done a fantastic job there in the sense of a massive club, a huge huge void to fill after Stephen left and the pressures and everything will come with that. And I think he's grew into that mantle and really done fantastically well. So pleased to see that he's been recognised for that, and deservedly so. Liverpool been fantastic, and he's been paramount for what they've done over the last two or three seasons, really. So good to see he's been recognised.
And drawing on your own experience of winning it, what does it mean to have, I suppose, your efforts for a season recognised in that way? Does it then is it a springboard for confidence into the next season and moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to get personal accolades when they're getting voted by other people. It's obviously it's a nice feeling. It's a confidence booster. It's always good, and Jordan will be feeling exactly that. You've got the rewards of Champions League and obviously winning the league as well. So yeah, I mean, it's always something you then can move forward and take forward to the next year. I'm sure Jordan, being the person he is, he wouldn't have needed that to do that, but certainly I'm sure it would be something what helps.
Thanks, Scott. Good luck for the games this week.
Thank you, mate.
Paul, thanks very much. If you could go on mute, if you don't mind, please, and we will carry on the broadcast section. So this is still the broadcast section. We're checking if we have any further questions we have Emma from BBC London, James from TalkSport.
Shall I go next, Carmelo? Is that all right?
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Emma.
Okay. Hello, Scott.
Hi, Emma.
I'm just wondering, I know that there was an outside chance of automatic promotion, but do you think that you were preparing for the playoff matches, and do you think that helps you and the team mentally?
I think so. Yeah, I think we knew the challenge, what was ahead of us. I think I did state pre that for the last 2 or 3 games that I think there will be some twists and turns along the way in this division, certainly in the current status we're in as well. But at the same time, I think we realised the other night that we were going to need a lot of results or a lot of things to go our way. So always the drive was, let's focus on ourselves. Let's win football matches, put ourselves in a position where if something does slip up, we're in an adventurous place to be able to grab hold of it, and that's always been the message. But at the same time, there's always been a message that there's 3 ways to go up in this division, and it's first and second, and then you've got the opportunity to go up by the playoffs. And whether it was going to be cut short in terms of we went up automatic, fantastic, but the players have always known that, and us as a team have always known that if not, we go again, really. So I don't feel there's any psychological blow to me and my team and how it's panned out, even though we have come 2 points off of second place and how close that has been. I feel that we're fully prepared, and we have been for some time on really being clear and focused on what we need to do, and we need to manage that ourselves, really.
Is it strange that this is all happening at this time in the calendar year, or because it's been an extraordinary season that's going to finish in this really odd way in August. As a footballer, would you have been prepared for what you're asking your players to do?
I don't think the time of year has been the issue so much. To be honest with you, it's happening so quick. I couldn't even tell you the time of year. It's like it just feels like we are where we would have been if that makes sense. I think the dynamics of it, the games, and how quickly they're coming around, and like literally how fast everything's happening, is a little bit strange and a little bit different. And obviously, you're asking players to literally, the season's been crammed into this short space. So in terms of that's a bit different. But in the same time, we've now been under these conditions now, playing like this for some weeks, and if there's one thing we have got used to, we've got used to that. I think players understand the routines and how the day-to-day working environment is and how games are structured and that. So we're used to that as well, really. So overall, it's probably just the timings of games and stuff like that.
In terms of these matches then now coming up? You described it, I think, as like being like cup football. Is it like that? Is it, you know, you go into it thinking, you know, clearly the winner takes all.
Yeah, it's over 2 legs and it's knockout football. So of course, you have to weigh up that and you have to put that into consideration when you're planning. But yeah, this is the nitty gritty now. This is 46 games of the season has passed, and we now go into the playoffs, which there's a lot at stake, and we understand that. But I do often say, and I've said it many times, we need to worry about ourselves and worry about showing up how I want us to show up and put in a performance that every good team and what I want my team to have, and certain ingredients what I want them to have. And if we do that, then I know we'll be fine. And of course, you can lose football matches, and certainly in this division. And when you're playing against a team like Cardiff and the other 2 teams who are also in the playoffs, it's tough competition. But you wouldn't expect anything less at this point. All teams who have got to this point are good sides. So yeah, we need to focus on ourselves and what we need to bring to the football match. And if we do that, I no doubt we'll be fine.
Finally, from me, Fulham have been in this position in the very recent past. Does that help that you've got players in your squad who have this?
I think it helps a bit. I'm not a great believer that it's the be all and end all, and you've got some players in the team what have experienced this football. I'm not. Of course, it's going to help a little bit. I'm more a believer in understanding what, like I just said, what you need to bring to the game, and what we need to bring, everything what we've tried to develop over this season, and understandings of what good teams and great teams have. And throughout the season, we've had some really, really good spells, and other times we've had bumps where we need to go over it and we need to keep understanding it. I have no doubt that when my team produce them performances, bring that ingredients to the game, are committed, professional, a real desire about us, a desperation to win a football match, and an understanding of that, I have no doubt that my team are good enough and we will win more than we lose. And I think we've shown that and proven that. 23 wins this year in the division proves that. And every one of them, they would have brought the ingredient what I speak about constantly. So that's the main focus. Of course, going back to your question, there's an element of an experience what some of the players have had before, but probably not one that I hold in too much high regard. There's a bigger one which I've just explained to you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. You can go on mute if you don't mind. And we have one more broadcast. James Savundra, TalkSport. Do you have any further questions to add?
Yeah, I've just got 2 or 3 questions. Hi, Scott.
Hi, James.
Scott, I know you beat Cardiff only a few weeks ago, 2-0 earlier on this season, but I wonder what you may have made of the job that Neil Harris has done since he's taken over, because when he took over, you wouldn't have thought they'd be in a position where they'd reached the playoffs. They've done so, and they've been on really good form this calendar year.
Yeah, Neil's done a fantastic job. Obviously, like you say, I think expectation that Cardiff would have been to be in the position they're in at this present moment in time, and obviously changed manager because of that maybe. And Neil's come in and got onto that position really. So has done an incredible job. Like you say, an informed team, a team which was only last year in the Premier League along with us, 8 points difference, and a bit better off than us. So yeah, a good squad, and we understand that. But yeah, like I say, Neil's done a fantastic job in that.
We spoke earlier on this season about how you had to look after some of the mental scars that the squad faced from last season. Do you feel like with the run of form your team's been on and the performances you put in this season, that most of those bruises are gone now psychologically for these players?
I think so. I think there's been a big shift in that. I still think there's room to improve. I still see elements which we need to improve, and we need to become stronger, and we need to get better at. but yeah, I honestly, I think, like I said, win 23 games in this division after being relegated out of the Premier League, where you're losing most weeks. I think we won 7 games last year. A lot of weekends, and for large parts of it, we didn't win many, and it became a bit of a habit, and there was psychological elements. I think you normally see that for most teams, and it's the same as teams what sometimes come up when you see teams come up from the Championship or League One the next year. They put in a real solid performance, and they do very well. The reason being is because it's the opposite to the teams who are getting relegated. There's a psychological element to it, where they've won a lot of football matches, and they understand that they're always in games, really. So my team have improved no end, and where we were to where we are now is it's fair play to the squad. Still bits we can improve on, but it always is when you're trying to become a top team.
And you say the squad have improved. Do you think this squad is well equipped for the Premier League? The only reason I say that is because there's going to be such a short turnaround between if you get to the playoff final and the start date for next season. So there won't be a huge amount of time to make any additions before that first game of the season anyway.
Yeah, look, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for everyone. I think you're right in saying the quick turnaround and how quick this season ends, and we're going to go into the next season is going to be is going to be very, very quick. Ultimately, like I say, the momentum and the bits what we've done this year and the improvements and the steps we've made, you hope put you in a good enough stead to be able to go into what is the best league in the world, and the challenges and as tough as it is, you like to think that momentum and that mindset a little bit will give you enough. In saying that, of course, you're going into the best league in the world, so the challenges are there. Let's hope we're in this position. Let's hope we're in that position to have them problems. At this moment, we've got 2 games ahead of us to get to a playoff final, and then hopefully in that we can get the job done, and we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Thanks, Scott. Good luck.
Yeah, James. Thank you.
James, thank you. That's the end of the broadcast section. If we can now move over to the written section generally, and then towards the end, we'll see if we have a couple of extra questions for Sundays if we need to. So who'd like to start us off, please, for the written section?
Scott, can I start, Carmelo? Is that all right?
Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
Right. Hi, Scott. So, can I just ask you? You mentioned psychologically. What have you done with the squad, or has been done with the squad to improve that, maybe over the course of the season, but even more recently?
Sorry, Ben, can you say that again? Because you broke up on me just when you was going to ask the question.
You mentioned the sort of psychological factor. What have you done with the squad, or what has been done with the players over the course of the season, or perhaps to improve that side of things?
It's a really bad line, guys. For some reason, I'm getting little tiny bits about psychological. I don't know.
Can you hear me now?
If I work between the lines, are you asking me how the improvements have been made, or what?
Yes.
Yeah, Scott, sorry, I don't know if you can hear.
I'll answer the question.
Yeah.
If it's wrong, then apologies. If I think you're asking me what's been done, or what's the reasons for that, it's just work on the training field. It's giving players some clear direction, working mentally with them, working off the field with them, giving them an understanding what's needed and the ingredients what's needed in football matches, momentum of games and how games swing, and really, just that everyday work and the detail of the work that we've gone in. If there's, I like to try and break it very simply down for the team and give them a clear structure, a clear understanding of the game model, and us understanding of what's expected of us as a group of players individually, what's expected in your role. And the game model is the game model, and we work on that on the training field. But probably the other side is more the psychological side as well, and the environment you're trying to set, and the culture you're trying to bring, and trying to make it a given, really. at times last year, not just losing games brings doubt or brings a psychological element. I think it's everything else what come with it as well. Losing matches, of course, two managers in the space of 1 year, different philosophies. A lot of signings coming in the building. There was a lot of different things what in such a short space of time changed. And if there's one thing that I think everyone wants or footballers want is routine or a real clear understanding of what's that. And that's what we try to do. Try to really just break it down into simple forms. A lot of detail, yes, and at times maybe you ask players, there has been an awful lot of detail in terms of the playing model and what we expect and how we want to develop as a team. And then the other side is the psychological side. And at times this year, the biggest learning curves and the biggest moments is for us to have developed this team, or for me to develop team, has been the times when we've suffered. Because when we've won, you can build on that. Of course you can. But the crucial moments have come when we suffered, and when we suffered Brentford away, I remember fans very unhappy, team really low. Other moments when we've lost 3 on the bounce in this division, with what people expect and the expectation from the outside and all the pressures that brought, were the moments where it flipped for us. Three or four games we lose and then we win the 5th, and they'd have been the key moments for me. Because they're the moments that your words all of a sudden become real to players, because before that you're giving examples, you're constantly talking, you're trying to sell the picture, and you're trying to sell things to what you want, because you know that they're going to be vastly important and they're going to be very important for us as a team to develop. But ultimately there comes a time when you need actions, or you need scenarios, you need it to physically happen, because when it physically happens, that's when the light bulb sometimes goes off, and that's when the light bulb goes off in a player's head and goes, right, okay, I understand that now. They weren't just words, or they weren't just pictures, or there wasn't just instances or scenarios. Actually, this has really happened, and this is what I reverted to. This is what we did. This is how we did it, and it worked, and we've got a result. And in fact, we've gone now 3 unbeaten. We've gone 4 unbeaten. In fact, we've got 4 clean sheets, 5 clean sheets, and they're the moments what have been vastly important. And along the way, like any great team, Liverpool's, whoever they are, you still have them moments, and they're the moments that you try and use to your advantage when you're trying to develop teams and you're trying to develop players and human beings.
Do you work with a psychologist, or does the club work with a psychologist regularly?
Yeah, we have a psychologist. I have a personal someone who I've worked with for many years when I was playing, and where I was now. Something I so highly believe in, and committed fully to it. And something in what I use, because I understand in the modern game and where we are that everyone's very, very different. We're dealing with a wide range of different cultures, different people, and how you manage them people, it varies from one to the other. You very rarely now, when you're dealing with a team, of course, you can deal with a team and as a group together when it comes to tactical, when it comes to game model stuff. You can treat everyone the same. How you deliver that information may differ, of course, but on the psychological element and how you're trying to get a message across, or how you're trying to influence a player, or how you're trying to develop someone's mindset is very, very different, because everyone's different. How you relate to someone, or how you can be very hard line, you can be very aggressive, you can be very straight to the point, because they like it that way. They like it very, okay, that's the way it is. There's another person who doesn't. There's another person who you're not going to get the best out of. You're not going to be able to develop. In fact, you're going to have the opposite impact on them. So they're just the elements that we're constantly working on, and with the help of obviously the people what are in them places, with the psychologists what we have at the club, and obviously my experiences and the people I work with as well.
Just lastly, if I can, the run of form after obviously Alexander was banned, in a way, did that give the team a belief? Obviously, he's head of a player for you, and his goals bring a lot. But did that sort of galvanise the team, maybe almost in a funny way, because of the results that you went on without him?
Sorry, when Mitrovic was out, did you say? Ben?
Yes.
and when he was out, obviously the team stepped in. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying? How did that? Yeah, look, I think when Alex went out the team, he took a lot of goals. He took, for large parts of this year, he scored the majority of our goals, and players needed to stand up. And you said that message. You said that to individual players. At this moment now, throughout the year, everyone's needed to stand up. Even more so now. We just took the top goal scorer out of the team, and we need to stand up and show that we can still do this. And to be fair to the team and to the squad of players, they did that. And again, they're the moments, and they're the moments which are vastly important, really. So players have stepped up in their moments, and that's all pluses and all positives for moving forward and becoming stronger, really.
Thanks for your time. Best of luck.
Cheers, Ben. Thank you, man.
Ben, thank you. If we have any further questions.
Yes, please, if that's possible, Carmelo.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Ian.
Hi, Scott, you all right?
I'm good, Ian.
Good. Just ask you on your main man, Mitrovic. It's quite an achievement for all the goals he scored this season. Just wondered, throughout your career as a player, your outstanding career as a player, whether you've played with anyone of comparable ability and kind of goal-scoring form.
Yeah, I mean, remarkable goal scoring form this year in terms of that, and he's been a large part of 25 goals, I think it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's 25 goals this year. Top goal scorer, and he's been paramount to what we've done in that sense. I think he'd be the first to say that the team and how the team dynamics are in terms of supporting him, and that he'd be the first to say that that's been vitally important as well. But I think we probably lose sight sometimes of how young Alex is, really, because of just everything about him, really. But this is still a player that's got so much to give and a lot more to offer. I still, as well as he's done, and he's done remarkably well, and his goal record says that internationally and at club level. His goal record says a lot. This is a player I still see has got so much more to come in his development and just everything about him, really. So over the moon with him this year. He's been fantastic on and off the pitch, and but yeah, the scary thing is I still see that there's more to come.
What more can he do? What more do you want from him?
I was going to say it then, but I can see the headline, so I'm not getting it. No, look, I think like anything, when every top goal scorer I've ever played with or ever been around, they're never happy, they're never satisfied. And I'm sure at times this year Mitrovic has been the same. And that's the animal they normally are. And not just strikers, that's the animal that top sportsmen and people what have burning ambitions to be successful and want to do well. That's constantly their biggest challenges is a voice in their head saying, right, I could have done better there. Or, I'm going to do this. I need to do more here. And that's why they're special, because they're relentless. They're relentless in their pursuit to wanting to get better. And I see him like that. Maybe that's the pressure that I'm putting on him, because I expect that from him, and I know he can deliver that. And but yeah, certainly 25 goals, yeah, and he's done remarkably well. He's done very well. But I still see someone who can go and take off even more.
Does he remind you of anyone? Does he remind you of anyone from the 90s, or is he just his own player?
Yeah, not really. I hate doing comparisons as well, really. I mean, he's an out-and-out centre forward. He's an out-and-out number 9, can hold the ball up, can bring his team into play, can play out there on his own because his physical attributes and the way he can dominate centre halves. In the box, he's obviously, in and around the box, he puts it away as well, really. So comparisons, I don't really want to do that. But yeah, I think you see a more rounded centre forward.
Just switch subjects. Bobby Reid obviously had the Cardiff history, and he only came into the club permanently in January. How much of a masterstroke is that proving to be to get him permanently rather than just a loan? Because he wouldn't have been able to play if he was only on loan now.
Yeah, I mean, big big thing really, because obviously, like you say, he won't be able to play now. So I mean, Bobby has been absolutely exceptional since he stepped foot in this building. He has been top, real top, and I think Bob will be first maybe a little bit disappointed at times in terms of goals and stuff like that, but what he does and what he gives to this team is nothing short of remarkable, really. And he's a vital cog in this team and the way I want the team to operate, really. So, I mean, look, it was good business for us to get the deal signed over and get him done, because we're going to need him for these next 3 games, like we've needed him for the majority of the year, really. So it was a big call.
And just ask you. We had a lot of talk about your players, but you've just completed a first full season in management. How are you finding it personally?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's been a tough year at times, and even more so when COVID come and lockdown come. It's been a long season, and you know, like always, what the stars of what this team and what the squad and what the football club had from previous years have been there, and they've been challenges. Challenges what are still there now, and of course sometimes the on-field stuff and how you develop the team is a process, and I see big improvements on that. And then the other side of that is the other bits which are off it as well. Yeah, it's been I've enjoyed every minute of it. At times there's been challenges, of course they have, but the challenges are what ultimately is cliche, but the challenges are what make you stronger and what make, when you're developing a team and when you're trying to develop football clubs and trying to breed a culture in it is what's vitally important, really. So I've enjoyed it. It's been tough. I don't think no experience this year, no experienced managers. Everyone's been in the same position since lockdown, because no manager, whether you've been in the game now for 20 years or you've been in the game like me in your first season, would have experienced what we've had to face, and massive challenges since lockdown in terms of working environment and how we've had to adapt and how training grounds look and everything else. But in saying that, fully, I've enjoyed every minute of it. And what we've done this year to be 2 points off a second and take it to the last day, and to be in a position we have now, 81 points in a season and winning 23 games, has been we've done a very good job here. The team have done remarkably well. We've got now another big push in the next 2 games and hopefully one more after that. And let's see where we are, and we'll keep moving forward and keep going in the right direction, hopefully.
Final one from me on that kind of theme. You've kind of quietly gone about your business this season, kind of proving yourself as a manager. But as you know, throughout your career, football's all about winning. How much pressure is on you personally in the next 3 games potentially?
There's been pressure on me since day dot. And I don't think that'll ever be. There's pressure on every manager. That's how it is. And when you decide to become a football manager, you're only ever two bad results or one bad result in obviously that pressure coming. So of course I understand that. I think at the same time, I think what I've just done, but what my team have done and what the players have done this year, I think needs to be rewarded in that sense as well, and understood. For large parts this year, West Brom, Brentford have been spoken about very highly, and rightly so. They've been fantastic. But to think we was level on points at Brentford, we was 2 points off of West Brom. I think we've won one more game in the league than West Brom in the sense of 3 and they won 22. To say we've done a very good job here in that sense. And of course the pressure comes, but the pressure will never be no greater than the pressure put on myself. It's a playoff game. We've got to this point. I want to win, and I want to do everything I can to get through. And there will be no one more disappointed. We can't manage to do that. But we're looking forward to it, and we'll embrace that challenge, and I will as well. So, yeah.
Thank you very much for your time, Scott. All the best to you in the playoffs. Can you just ask my colleagues while they're on, could we embargo those last 2 answers to Sunday papers and embargo the answer on Mitrovic until Monday papers, please? Thank you, Carmelo.
Okay, Ian, on your last question, if you can take that offline with the journalists on the call.
Yes, I will do.
Because, this is an open press conference. There were never any rigid embargoes stipulated other than the separate section. So please take that up separately.
Okay.
We are moving on quite quickly on this press conference. So I would like to go straight to a Sunday section. Unless someone tells me now they have a burning question, I'd like to go straight to a Sunday for 5 minutes. Okay, that sounds good. Isabel, can you unmute and go to a Sunday section, please?
Hi, Scott. Thanks so much for your time. Just kind of going back to that quite inspiring stuff you were talking about the psychological element at a football club. You're brilliantly outspoken about it, but why do you think it is so important for players and their growth?
Because the main reason being is because you're under such scrutiny. You're under such spotlight as a player, as a manager, as coaches, or when I was playing, it was never, the spotlight was there. It was a newspaper, and it was what it was. But the world we live in today is very, very different. Fast moving. Everyone's got an opinion. Everyone's got a judgment. Everyone's got a platform to express that. And I suppose I realise is the challenges what come with that, really. That the challenges what come as an athlete playing in an arena with thousands of people watching is one challenge, and that's a challenge when you're not playing well or you are playing well, and the psychological element of the stature of the game. And then another side is the outside influences and how you're perceived or how your performance is judged, or whether you're the bad guy this week, whether you're the good guy this week, whether you're going to get a sack or you're not going to get a sack. And probably just trying to understand or trying to give the players a real rational thinking. We're in a world where rationale is, in our environment, is never really there, to be quite honest with you, because that's the way it is. Where's the headline, where's the story? And very rarely do we sit down and really, really think, okay, well, let's break this down. Let's break down this performance. Let's break down the manager and how he's doing. Let's break down this striker and his goal record and where he is at the moment and why. And I suppose as a football coach and me trying to develop this team and trying to develop players, I'm trying to give them examples, because it's very easy to lose sight, and you become in that moment which we're all surrounded by. And the moment and what we're surrounded by is very, very, really quick judgment. He's not played well because he's not done this, he's the worst player, he's the worst this, and I suppose ultimately I think I realised that there's more to it in what we do, and trying to give that understanding to players and trying to educate them. Okay, look, listen, is it as bad as that? Because it's never as bad as that. What are the reasons? Can we blank that out? Can we do? And trying to give a real understanding and levelness to which is a world which is moving at 1,000 miles an hour, a world which was moving much quicker than I was when I was playing. I see it now. I mean, I sit here as the coach, and I understand that the world's moving at 1,000 miles per hour, and I'm on the end of that. But I have the experiences, what's happened throughout my career and what's happened in my life, that I can fall back on. And I fall back on them, and that helps me through, and I understand their moments. The players in this generation don't have them experiences. This is what they're in. This is what they've been in. And if someone like myself and people will probably have experienced that, what I feel like I want to give them experiences too, and give them an understanding, and really try and break it down so it's more clear for them, and hope that they have what I have, because I believe in what I have, and the experiences I have help me live in this current moment and in these current worlds. And that's what I want to try and give the players, because I think if I do that, and I can give them that I think they'll become a better footballer for it.
Yeah, definitely. Such interesting examples. And obviously, as fans, I feel like we feel Mitrovic is one of those players. His maturity does get overlooked. He is young, but the way he handled the ban with so much maturity, how pleased are you to kind of see that?
Yeah, very pleased. And I think you're right. I think obviously Alex is someone who people do see beyond his years. They see him a lot older, and it's not. I work with him every day. I'm around him every day, and he made a mistake in the Leeds game. He knew that. He went over the line, and you know, as a football manager and someone who's managing Mitro, I want him on the line. I never want him below it, because you get half the player. I don't want any of my players below the line. I want them right on it. But at the same time, there's a fine. It is fine. You don't want to cross it. You understand that sometimes in sport and the motion of the game and everything else, that sometimes you do cross the line, and you take your medicine. And Alex took his medicine. He knew the mistake he made. We had numerous conversations about it. And the next thing was how he reacted. How are you going to react at this moment now? Eyes are on you. People criticise him. You take your medicine. You take your 3 games, and when you come back, you show them that obviously you've learned from it, and you accept it really. And he's done that, and he's been absolutely fantastic since he's come back. He scored goals. He's got himself the top goal scorer in the division, and he's done remarkably well.
Yeah, and just lastly from me, obviously you are, as you said, you're professional athletes, but when in your playing career did you realise, okay, the mental side of it is maybe just as important, or even in playoffs and things like that, it kind of takes over?
I probably realised when 5-6 years into my career, Charlton, then went to Chelsea, and then it wasn't probably till I got up to Newcastle that I started realising the impact of it and the dynamics of it, and how much it would have helped me. You know, I'm someone that when I was playing as a player, I would leave no stone unturned. I wanted to try and make the best of every single bit of me. Often footballers, you can do that on the training field. You practice your left foot or your shooting or whatever it is, but some things what I probably neglected a little bit is trying to train your brain a little bit, and trying to train how you become a better person and how you become mentally quite strong. And that was something which I decided I wanted to do, because I knew that if I did that, it'd give me an advantage, and it'd also make me a better athlete and a better player. And I'm glad I did that, because I don't think I'd be in this position at this present moment in time, and with the team, and develop the team like we have, and all them experience that I've had, and obviously during that has put me in good stead to be able to do what we've done this year.
Thanks so much. Good luck. Cheers.
Isabel, thank you. Look, we're going to have to wrap this up now. We've gone over, but John West, I do know you have. I'm going to allow you one final question, and that will be the last question. John, if you can unmute and ask one question, and then we're done. Thank you. John, sorry, you're not coming through. I'll give you another second or so, otherwise we'll call it a day here. Try one more time. No, sorry, John, not hearing you. I can hear you now. Can you try again?
Do you want to say the question, Cam, if you're hearing?
No, I can't actually hear a thing. John, do you want to check your microphone? We'll give it one more go. We'll give you one more chance. If not, can you type it for me? Type it for me and I'll ask Scott for you. Give you 2 seconds to type the question and I'll ask Scott. And I hope it's not a long question. Okay, great. Thank you. I've got it here. So Scott's question from John West is, Harry Arter's red card at Cardiff, is he ready to go back?
Yeah, he'll be ready. Obviously, a red card against the last time he went there. But yeah, I don't see any mental scars or anything which suggests otherwise. He understood that what it was last time, and he'll be ready to play if need be